to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and this is a hypnosis session that I filmed when I was out in Dubai for certain business work that I needed to do out there. And I had a client that really wanted to feel confident and optimistic about selling in a different way. And normally they were selling one-to-one, either over the phone or video calls. But this was different. They were going to be selling to a room of people, and they wanted to feel confident and that it was an opportunity, and they wanted to feel abundant in that process. So what you're going to hear is a slightly different session because I'm outside of my normal studio environment, but I do have a fairly good microphone. It's my portable microphone when I record outside, and at its core, it's about feeling confident and optimistic if you're selling to a group of people. So if you can connect to that idea, you might get some value from this session. And if you want something bespoke and unique to you, check out the description in the show notes. There's various resources, a free course, free downloads, and a free suitability test. So check those out. For now, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be distracted or disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a wonderful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of worry, stress, or tension to just feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath. Breathing in relaxation and exhaling tension. And notice with your eyes closed how much easier it becomes to relax. And you can position your body in a way that feels more comfortable for you. A place where your mind, your body can relax. But more importantly, where your mind can begin to focus. Not drifting away, but tuning in. This isn't about escaping. This is about becoming the version of you that gets to grow, evolve, and develop and enjoy the process. And as you begin to breathe a little slower, you might remember a time where conversation felt easy, natural. A time when you didn't have to think about the right words, because the right words simply came. A moment where you felt comfortable, engaged, connected. And maybe it was in a one-to-one conversation where you were simply just being yourself. And maybe you were explaining or listening or responding. And notice how, when you felt that way, in those moments, there was no pressure, no performance, just connection. And I want you to go back to that memory now. Observe yourself. See how you were back then, when you were communicating clearly, articulately, fluently, without any pressure at all. as you see that version of you, you begin to realize that that ability is still there. And I want you to imagine that same conversation stepping into that body, feeling how you felt back then. But instead of one person, suddenly make them two. And still feel connected to that feeling of low pressure and just comfort and relaxation. You are still you, still natural, still clear. And now three. There's three people in front of you, and you're still having that natural, calm, clear communication. And then five. Make there 5 people in front of you, and still connect to being calm, relaxed, fluent, articulate. And then 10, and then 20, and then even more. And what if something interesting happens? The number of people changes, but you don't. Your voice remains steady. Your presence remains grounded. Because what you do isn't dependent on the number of people you communicate with. Whether it's 5 or 50 or 500, you are simply sharing, explaining, connecting. One mind at a time, even in a room full of people. And as that feeling settles deeper, you can begin to see yourself differently, not as someone trying to perform, and not as someone trying to impress, but as someone who has a simple role. You are someone who takes complex ideas and distills them and makes them simple, makes them clear, makes them useful. You help people understand what truly matters, so that they can make decisions that support their lives. And the more you see it that way, the more the pressure disappears. And what if you're not there to sell? You're there to bring clarity to those that need clarity. And maybe you've already noticed within your life that the most powerful communicators don't use complicated language. They use simple words, clear ideas, natural pauses, because clarity builds trust, and simplicity creates connection. And every time you pause, it doesn't weaken you. It strengthens your presence. And every word you choose doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to be understood. And there's something you already know how to do. You already know what you know. You know how to communicate the benefits, the solutions to problems. That doesn't change just because you're speaking to more than one person. I want you to imagine a garden. Maybe a garden from your childhood, perhaps a garden that you have now. And just imagine, what if each presentation was like planting seeds, where some grow immediately, and some take time, and some grow when you're not even there. And your role is not to control the outcome, but to create the conditions in which seeds
can grow, where growth becomes possible and then probable and then inevitable. And when you release the need for a specific result, you gain something far more powerful: freedom, flow, and a quiet confidence that what you're doing is working. And I want you to imagine distorting time and seeing that garden of seeds that are planted bloom into flowers, trees. See them flourishing. And I wonder if you can find a new state forming within you. A blend of confidence, charisma, optimism, and liveliness. Right there in the chest where anxiety used to be. Maybe you can find a sense of being light, cheerful, engaging, even slightly playful, as if you're enjoying the moment rather than trying to control it. And just notice how that feels, because this version of you doesn't force energy. It flows naturally. People feel it. They respond to it. They trust it. And what if this energy becomes your default? And what if you choose a simple way to activate this state whenever you need it? Maybe it's a breath, a slow inhale and a calm exhale, or gently pressing your fingers together. And as you do that now, you link this gesture to this state. So anytime you use it, your mind remembers and your body responds. And I wonder if you could imagine your very next presentation. Observe yourself with a sense of readiness, a calm anticipation. And when you see yourself begin speaking, your voice is already clear, natural. Observe how you don't rush, you don't force. You simply speak. And as you continue, you notice people listening, engaged, following your words. And you feel that sense of rhythm, that flow, where everything just works. And then when you finish, there's no pressure, no need to chase, just a quiet confidence that the right people will respond, and they do. You begin to understand that in every room, there are already people close to saying yes. And your role is simply to have them recognize it, not by pushing, but by clarifying. And as all this settles into place, you can begin to realize this isn't something you're trying to become. This is something you already are. A confident, clear, engaging communicator who brings energy, warmth, and understanding. And every presentation strengthens that identity, makes it more natural, more automatic, more you. And I want you to imagine observing these presentations one after each other, like you're a spectator. See yourself in that very first presentation, clear, articulate, and see how after each presentation your confidence grows. You seem more relaxed, more optimistic, more comfortable, more charismatic. Each presentation builds on from the next and the last, and that momentum continues. And I want you to drift forward until the end of June and just see the version of you exuding confidence, brimming with optimism, feeling connected, calm, and see that the sales were a side effect of you feeling relaxed, calm, and comfortable, not the point. Because if you make sales and selling the objective, you introduce pressure. So let's dial down all of that pressure and look at sales as the side effect, not the cause. You presenting well, confidently, in a way where people can clearly understand what you're saying, leads to sales. Sales leads to more confidence, which leads to more comfort. And the more comfortable and relaxed you are, the better the results happen to be. Not by forcing it, but just as a result of planting the right seeds to the right minds at the right time. And the more people you present to, the more seeds get planted, and the more flowers that bloom and fruit that can be picked. If your unconscious is ready to embrace this identity of calm confidence, looking at this season of presentations as an opportunity for growth, expansion, there's a part of you deep within that wants to find this fun and give it permission to do so. And as you do so, notice how much more optimistic you feel about these future presentations. And as you hold that thought, it's time to return, taking all of these resources, all of these new beliefs, all of these new perspectives with you. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As very soon I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken feeling calm, confident, unleashing a desire to incrementally and deliberately get more opportunities to present, knowing the more you do it and the more relaxed you feel, the more optimistic and confident you will become, and that sales are just a side effect of that. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.